Hi, and welcome to A Punk with Toys. My name is Lawrence, and today we're going to take a look at the Target exclusive G.I. Joe Classified Python Patrol, Tele-Viper, and Trubble Bubble. Or maybe it's a flight pod. Some people get really mad that you call it the Trubble Bubble or you call it the flight pod. It's amazing to think people get mad about, but here it is. It did come in. Now this thing runs $45, not $55, which is a standard Trubble Bubble. And if you're not, you may not believe what everyone says, but Emily from the G.I. Joe team said they just screwed up, so enjoy it. That's all you can say. Sounds like it was supposed to be 55. I think it was probably a Target thing where when it was really originally supposed to come out, they had it for 45. Who knows? Again, G.I. Joe team says they screwed up. Enjoy it. You get $10 off. So we're going to take a look at it. I will quickly compare it to the Trubble Bubble that we have. I will compare it to a vintage O-ring Tele-Viper Python Patrol. I will also show you how I raised mine up using the Hasbro flight stands, or yeah, the flight stands. And I did a whole video on it before, so you can actually find it. You can check it out, but if you're just checking this out, if you didn't see that video, I'll quickly show you how to do it. It's actually really easy, and these flight stands are really good. 3 for 15 bucks. So anyway, there you go. Amazing artwork. You get everything that was in the other one, the 3 different heads. Again, you get the Trubble Bubble, you get the Air Mine. So we got wonderful artwork, all the artwork in the back, and then we got a picture of the actual figure. Here he is on the other side, and again, they did find a way to make this gun seem decent. I never understood it as a kid. I always hated it. I didn't even like Tele-Viper. Here you have your QR code number 98. So the next in the line is his tank, his drivers and everything. So, and then on the back we have exactly how it looks. And I know a lot of people like the canopy actually having some tint to it. So anyway, let's get into this. We're going to do all this. This should be a fairly quick video, as we've already seen. At the end of this, I'll actually drop a link to my original Tele-Viper flight pod video if you're interested in seeing that one. So before we do, if you like the content that I'm giving you, take a second. It doesn't take very long. Hit that subscribe button, hit that like button, hit that bell notification, so you're notified every time I do drop a G.I. Joe classified video. All right, everything is out, and it's hard to say this is a coffin, but I gotta say the artwork in black and white looks really good. Now, there is some packing tape that was put on here. I'm not really sure what the reason was, but it doesn't really matter. But the artwork looks really good. This is another one that looks really good in black and white. Although, I don't know if you really needed to have the blast effect, the port for it in there. They do some weird things at times. Here's the big whatever it's called, Tele-Viper Cobra Flight Pod Trubble Bubble number 98, upside down Cobra symbol, upside down 98, which makes 86. Anyway, let's look at everything here. I'm gonna put the figure to the side. We got the same heads, same variations. Everything is the exact same, other than the amount that it costs to actually buy it. So quickly, here is the gun, and well, it looks a little warped, a little bent out of shape here. It is kind of pliable, but it's not all that bad. So nothing that's too bad, but again, if you want to straighten it out, you are more than welcome to. And it just plugs right on here, so you got a little peg here. Now, the other one, the 2 that I have here, they went on fairly easy, but if you feel like you're having a problem, just go and heat it up a little bit. Throw it in some hot water, not boiling water, hot water. But this thing should just kind of pop right on. Looks like I might have to actually heat it up, or just drop it, which kind of defeats the whole purpose. Sorry about that. That was me bending over and just trying to talk. So here we go. I'm going to try this one more time before I go and hit it with a little bit of heat. Because again, you don't want to break these things. Don't be He-Man. There we go. So, it's on. That's all you need to do. A little bit of elbow grease, and you'll get that thing to slide right on there. Here you have the engines. It just plugs right in. And I have to say this. Lenny did talk that, at least on the original one, that possibly this could be used for something else. The difference between this and the original Trubble bubble is it actually stays on. The original ones, if you had, you'll remember, they didn't stay on too easy. So these are angled and they only go in one way. So if you're not putting it in the proper way, it's going to tell you by not letting you do it. And I will say this, because it's probably the exact same as the other Trubble bubble, they don't stay on very well. They stay on fine, but if you hit them wrong, they pop off. So you got these yellow missiles now. Gonna pop right on. And there you go. So quickly, I'm just gonna start off with the main thing. And I didn't miss it. I actually did see it, but I kind of forgot about it by the end of it. So when you put the bubble down, it's supposed to click in. And on this side, it pops in. But with the other Trubble bubble and with this, as you can see, it actually doesn't go all the way in. It's just not cut right. Like this is probably, oh, yes, you know what? I just made a liar out of me. I pushed down and it went in perfectly fine. But this one here, it goes in on this side, but as you can see, I guess as you push it down, it tends to stay on. So, all right, well, made a liar out of me. I'm okay with being wrong every now and then. All right, so quickly, just looking at this thing, I actually think it doesn't look bad. It is some funky colors, but again, that's what Python Patrol is. I don't mind it, and this was not something that was ever made from anything that I know of. So you have your heads-up display with the Cobra symbol, and it really, I mean, at this angle, it looks like a flight helmet that you would see in Top Gun or something like that in many ways. Now, lift it up. The tint everyone seems to really like. Now, I like the clear on the regular Trubble bubble, but I think it works really good on this. You're going to get your little red accent that runs around. So this is, it's not a sticker, although it kind of looks like it, but it is painted on there or however they do it. You're going to say, let's see. SB. So what the hell is SB? So I'm not really sure what SB stands for. Trubble bubble. I don't know. If someone knows, please tell me. Fuse. So looking at the detail, these things are really nice. On the inside, you have all these heads-up display, or I guess these aren't heads-up displays, but all little displays here that will show you what's wrong with your Trubble bubble while you're flying. You obviously want to keep it up, but they do put some nice little detail in it. You guess you didn't really need a lot, but if you looked at the original Trubble bubble, and like I said, I will link down below or at the end of this video to this video. So here you have your safety first. You don't need to worry about snake eyes throwing you out. On this side here, it has a 16, so yeah, SB. I know I've never asked before, so someone's gonna know what it is, and they're gonna say, you're an idiot, you don't know anything. Yeah, that's kind of true. You got these little Python eyes on the actual controllers to fly it. So again, you look at the detail, it looks really nice. You got little cannon or coils running up to it. The back of it here, you have exactly where the gas is supposed to go so you can fill it up. That's what that was actually used for back in the day. Your danger, hot exhaust, because Cobra's not that bright. Then you have Python Patrol PE49L7A. So they kept the same number, which makes you think it's some sort of lot number or some sort of model number, I guess. Not lot, model number. All right. And on the bottom, you have what looks like kind of an escape hatch. I have seen people pop this off, I believe, to make it so you can actually kind of make it fly. And then you have the exhaust that sits here. So I've seen a lot of people take the mine, which this one is just pure black. Clearly does not look nearly as nice as this one. All you have is a little bit of running caution, but it's so hard to see on that dark black. And it does open up, so you can kind of see where it opens up. And you drop it off, and unfortunately it's really hard to see there, but it does have the mechanics inside of it. Now, I've seen a lot of people, they plug this in here. I don't think this is where it's actually supposed to plug into. I think this is supposed to be for any type of backblast from the actual cannon. But hey, you know what? You can do whatever you want. I guess technically you can land it like that, but if you did, guess what? These things here would actually explode because that's what you don't want to hit on a mine. And if you're trying to plug that in, it would explode. But it's a toy. You do what you want. If that makes you happy, it doesn't bother me. All right. Yes. I can get this thing back on here really quick. And if I can't do that, then we're just going to leave it. There we go. But they do just kind of sit there, and you can do whatever you want with it. So there's the Trubble bubble. I do like the tint on it, and you can definitely see through it. We'll get him in there in a minute. All right. His weapons, he comes with the same weapons, so you have the same backpack that we had on the OG one. And as you can see, it's pretty much the exact same. They did everything to make this just kind of relive what we had in the late 80s. Then you have the gun, which is the same. It's black, looks nice. I have my cord here, so this one is black. They decided to give us a nice red one, and yes, it is pliable. As for the gun, as you can see, it does have some warpature. The stock on the back is all soft. This one you might be able to actually explain that it's worked because of maybe it's shooting sonic beams or something. It does have a port, as I kind of showed you on the artwork. And then it just kind of plugs onto the bottom like this here. So, you know, anytime you do a video, I feel like you're going to drop stuff. And that's what I'm doing here. So, there we go. Now look at the two heads here. First, we'll take a look at this head, and I really do like this on the regular Python Patrol. Matter of fact, I took this head and I put it on one of the Valkyries, because it's a helmet, so, and I put the backpack on her, and now I had a Valkyrie Tele-Viper that's just kind of my own figure. This has some nice little paint apps to it. Now, this is supposed to be kind of like a battle, maybe it's a battle helmet or something like that. He can see all the Sonic moves, or I don't know. I don't know what I'm talking about saying Sonic. Why do I keep bringing up Sonic? But the design is pretty good here. Paint looks nice. Again, I really do like this head. Now, I guess we could use this on, let's say, Copperhead here. We might be able to use it on one of the Cobra officers. You can use it on whatever you want if the peg actually fits. And that might be a big thing, because the officers use the old style. So here we have the white face, or the white complexion. Paint looks good. You got your chin strap that runs around, and they did a really good job of thinning out the mask, so he doesn't have a giant head like the original. Now, on my original video, I said they're the same face. I'm wrong. They are actually mirror images of each other. So if you look at this, you can see that face. His mouth is up a little bit over on this side. Where on this one, his mouth is up on this side. So quickly looking at this, again, looks nice. Paint's all where it's supposed to be. Now, let's make sure there's no issues. So we got nice T-pose, bicep swivel, pinless joints. He actually feels nice and smooth, to be honest. Both elbows, goes in and out. He does have the ab crunch. Now this kind of does move up. It's not all one piece. So it does allow him to get a little bit more more maneuverability than the first figures. That, if you remember, they had the big vest. It looks like he has a little walkie-talkie, which is kind of odd because he's full of like telecommunications. Pouches on the side right here. I like the red. We might as well compare them here. Oh, let's finish this. Your Jean-Claude Van Damme with the drop-down hips, and they do fit pretty nicely. He feels really solid, okay? So all the joints seem to be moving nicely. Nothing seems real soft on him. Nothing seems too stiff to move around. Actually, just how you want a figure to feel. All right. So we can compare them. And I'm sorry, Jeremy. I'm going to leave this head sculpt on here right now. I know that upsets you because, as we know, if you want, listen, if you're part of the Facebook groups, you know exactly who we're discussing. But anyway, there is no python on the actual vest. I guess that's where you kind of learn to cut your costs there. Throughout the legs and everything, it's pretty much the same. You got a pouch on the side. The boots are not hidden. They are exposed, so they actually look better. Just kind of looks like he's got parachute pants on over it. On the belt here, does he have... So on the belt, he does not have a walkie-talkie, but they decided to give it. I don't remember pointing that out on the other one. Probably because it was so dark. But you got the red belt. You got the straps that go around it. It does look nice. Now, where they did make the change is they put them on with some sort of like shirt, so you could change the face and change the color of the character without having to worry about the arms and stuff like that. It doesn't bother me. He does have a nice communication here, and you can kind of see everything, which does look nice. It's just showing you that, I mean, this guy is constantly communicating with people. And then on the side here, you can see he's got his little pouch that he can keep his cigarettes, but now it says Python Patrol. So they did add that, which they've done that on a few of them, right? I think the later ones, they started adding Python Patrol. As for the head here, I'll grab this one here just because. Red mask, and you can see how big his head is. This almost looks like he has a shaved head, or he's balding, and just has like that big beard. You know, kind of like LeBron James. But this one here, it actually looks like an actual helmet. So I think it looks really nice. I was way more impressed with these figures than I thought I was going to be. So, oops, that's the wrong one. So quickly, we'll compare them. So you want to see what the difference looks like? This one just gives a more aesthetic feel. I mean, this is obviously your classic, but I don't think this looks bad. And I guess we kind of swap a couple things. I'm not popping off the bubble. I've already seen someone pop the bubble off. So you could do something like this, but I think kind of to put this one on here, it just wouldn't look that good. This may not look all that bad. I kind of like the black accents, but the red and the yellow, in my opinion, kind of take away from it. All right. So, to quell everything, even that I thought here, is that, yeah, with the bubble, if you push down, it pretty much locks in. It may not be, it's not perfectly smooth, but for the most part, it stays on there. I thought my other one, or maybe it was this one, I don't remember which one, I had two of them, seemed to open up. This one here, again, just a little bit of pressure. There's a slight gap, but nothing to really complain about. So to keep this figure in here, he does have his seatbelt. And as you can see, you can move the legs up. I'm gonna drop this bad boy right down here. This throws over, and then you have this little mushroom. I'm gonna pop that on there. And let's see how well it pops on there. I didn't have an issue before. Again, this is your first look. All right, so I'm definitely struggling, and this is sometimes part of the issue. There we go. All right, so if you pop it in the right, it goes in really easily. I'm gonna throw this. Actually, let's get his arms on here. Again, if you already have the other Trubble bubble, you already know how they handle. Now, the one thing I can say, and I don't know if this was done on purpose, is that you have these trigger fingers. So the trigger finger actually works over the brake and what I guess would be the acceleration pretty nicely if you want to set it like that. So push that down. Yeah, I don't have any issues. So just put a little bit of elbow grease in there and it fits nice and smoothly. I know people will call me a Hasbro shill, but what can you do? Anyway, flight pod, flight stand. Let's do this really quick. So I did a whole video on this. People seem really happy with it. So this is how the flight stand can be. It has this big arm on it. And here is one without it. Now these are meant to come on and off. They just pop right on and off. What you are going to need is, or want, is you do want this little piece on here, right? This is the arm that's actually going to wrap around the waist. You're going to use this to wrap around the gun. You're going to put the flat part right here up on here. Now you can do it and it will sit there by just putting it on top and clamping it, but you're also kind of risking. So what I suggest is taking a little bit of sticky tack, pop this thing off, throw it up there, and then let me tell you, these flight pods these flight stands are great. All right, so all we're gonna do is we're gonna open that up, knock it off. See, they're made to come on and off, but you want to take it so it's just kind of wrapped there so you can hold on to it. Then you push that down and gotta open this up more. All right, so see this, you want this to wrap around the gun. Then you use a sticky tack just to hold it on just like that. And you have your flight stand for your flight pod. Now, I think that Hasbro made a huge mistake not making a flight stand for this and make it so it works for this and for Serpentor's Air Chariot. It could have been something they could have sold as an aftermarket, but this does work fairly well. Now, this is not going to work for Serpentor's Air Chariot, not in any way that I've done yet, but now that I'm looking at it, I'm thinking, oh, maybe we can make one work, but I might have to do that later. So anyway, there you go. There's your flight pod. Pretty much everything that's to it. I didn't arm him up, but again, we know how that goes. I'll arm him up in a second, but that's how you get it to raise up. That's how you use a flight pod. $15 for 3 of these. I really do like these. So now, what does he look like fully armored up? Well, you know what? I'm going to do this. So I've already seen people having issues with the heads either being broken or I don't know if they're being broken in the box or when they try and remove them. So be careful. So this one popped off really easily. Now here's what I'm going to tell you. You cannot throw this head on one of the officers because the officers use the new peg or the old peg style, which is this is a much bigger ball joint, and that's disappointing. I'm just gonna flat out say it. That is disappointing. Now I kind of like this. Again, I love this head. I think this sculpt is really great. If they would have made a modern day one, just had it come out like this, I wouldn't have had a problem with it. So the backpack on here. Gun is trigger finger. Open those hands up. Sorry, kind of getting a screenshot here. There we go. Look at this. So, all in all, another nice figure. Like I mentioned in the Copperhead video, I just like the Army Builders a little bit better for the Python Patrol. They just seem to work better. You do need a leader, but I don't know if I really needed a Copperhead. Although I don't think he looks bad, I just don't think I really needed him. So, there you go. I'm actually going to, you know, get him in the flight pod, the Trubble bubble. And fly him. So, there you go. I just kind of want to get him to stand up. There you go. He stands up easily. No problem at all. Again, I do like the figure. I do like the Trubble bubble. $45. Again, if you want to do some customizing, if you want to play the clearance game, that's up to you. So, here you go. That's it. There's not too much more to them. But I will link at the end of this video here. Alright, so my first thought on this is I actually like it. I don't have any paint defects on it. The stock on the gun is a little soft, but for the most part, I think this actually looks pretty good. I know not a lot of people were too thrilled with it, that they didn't really want this. It didn't exist before, but I'm perfectly fine with it. It's $45, so it is cheaper than the regular Trubble bubble. The color scheme actually does work. Again, if you don't like the Python Patrol, you're not going to like it. And like I said, when it comes to the figures, I actually like the Troop Builder Python Patrols much better than like Copperhead or just having a regular named character. But you get the 3 different heads. You get the landmine, or air mine, shall I say. And it does complement the rest of your figures. And now you have a little bit of air support. So, Target exclusive. If you want it, go out and get it. There's the Hasbro flight stand with it on there. I think it works really well. There you go. All right, so Trubble Bubble review is now in the books. Sometimes it may seem like I'm not that interested, but I've already gone over everything with this, and now you're just kind of comparing it. Sometimes you start to miss things. Sometimes you think, hey, you know what? I forgot to cover this on this first painted one, and now the repaint here. If you're having issues with the bubble not closing, all you need to do is put a little bit of force, at least on the ones that I have. Yes, it'd probably be nicer if it was easier just to pop down. But hey, you can see that I was able to hold it up there without a problem. Again, here's the Hasbro flight stand. They're $15 for 3 of them. They are wonderful. You hear the Hasbro team absolutely, they talk about them all the time. And if you need something that's that you can use for your steel core figures, there you have it. It can also be used for these. Again, you can't get it in different angles, and it's really only going to sit at one height, but hey, it's better than nothing. And I know I have one that's sitting downstairs on one of my shelves, and it does not fall. So anyway, I am going to get out of here. I hope you enjoyed this. I know the Python Patrol isn't everyone's favorite, but I'm doing the reviews. I'm showing you guys what you may or may not be missing out. And letting you guys decide whether or not this is what you want to get. And again, this is just how I do my reviews. If you're new to the channel, it's first-hand reaction. So I'm going to get out of here. Before I do, if you're new and haven't been there, Facebook group page, Punks with Toys, because once you join, you're a punk with toys. Social medias, Instagram, Twitter, TikTok, Punk with Toys. I'm struggling not to cough, because I have this itch, and I only left that in there because you guys saw me struggling with it for so long. Anyway, I'm going to get out of here. If you like the channel, you stayed this long to hear the cough at the end, take a second, hit that subscribe button, hit that like button, hit that bell notification so you're notified every time I do drop a G.I. Joe video. And I think we're going to get a little bit slower going into December. I still have Nunchuck to come. We got the fire team, and obviously the Hiss tank. I don't know if anything else is going to drop. I'll be okay if it doesn't, I guess. I still got a lot of best ofs to do, room tours, different things like that. So I will be busy on YouTube. Don't you worry. But anyway, I'm going to get out of here. And like I said, up here is going to be the first Trubble Bubble Tele-Viper video that I did, and here's the classified list. All the figures that I've done so far, which is every single one of them, even the early ones before I understood what YouTube was. Take care.